Hello and welcome to Weekly Wisdom. My name is Mark Van Buren, and today I'd like to talk about the difference between preferences and attachments. So when you go on this meditative path, it can get a little confusing when we start talking about being in the present moment, letting go of our judgments and our desires and our attachments. It might make it seem like you're supposed to be this empty void just walking around conscious all the time. And I get this question all the time, especially from people that are really motivated to do something in the future. Whether it's try to be part of a Broadway play or try to, further their career or whatever it might be. These people get really confused with this instruction. And they say, well, what happens if I really want to work towards this? What happens if I want to get in that show? What happens if I want to be that athlete or, whatever it might be? And really the difference is going to be in understanding preferences versus attachments. So look, there's nothing wrong with preferring life to be a certain way. So I prefer the weather to be warm and sunny. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, unless I move somewhere like Hawaii or, some of the islands, I'm not going to get that. I live in New Jersey. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes there's snow, and yes, sometimes there is sun. So the difference between a preference and an attachment is, yes, the preference is I prefer this. But if something else comes along, that's okay. I'm not upset about it. An attachment, on the other hand, is saying, I need it to be sunny and warm or else I'm going to be really pissed off the whole day. I'm going to be really upset. I'm going to be miserable to be around. So it has more of a neurotic quality. And this is how you can kind of tell the difference between your preferences and attachments. So you can look at it and see if you get devastated when you feel like you can't get what you want. That would be an attachment. And I think it's important to remind you what this practice is about. It's not about having no thoughts or no cravings or no preferences, but it's really about reducing suffering in our lives, unnecessary suffering that comes from our own mind, our own thinking. So when we have a preference, again, if we like to eat chocolate cake, great, you can have chocolate cake. There's no problem with that. But the problem comes when you're attached to having it. So when you're so neurotically attached to having chocolate cake that you suffer when it's not around, that's where the problem comes in. So attaching really tightly to our preferences will create suffering in our lives. And again, these practices are geared toward reducing suffering. So learning to prefer things rather than having to have our way all the time is basically what it comes down to. So this week, just look at your life. Look at the things that you want and see if you have a preference or if you have maybe a deeper attachment to whatever it might be, having to have it your way. And again, it's going to have that neurotic quality to it that I need this or else everything's going to fall apart. So look at your preferences, look at your attachments, and see if you can, of course, let go of your attachments or even take your attachments and turn them into a preference. So there's another analogy, I guess, as far as preferences versus attachments, and it's how you hold on to your cravings, to your wants. So I don't have anything right now, I have my phone. So attachment would be holding on like this. I need it. I need to have it. And a preference would be holding on to this. So I'm still holding on to the phone. But you see the difference, the neurotic quality versus the open, yes, if somebody took the phone, no big deal. But like this, if someone tries to take it, I'm going to fight, I'm going to resist, I'm going to create suffering. So again, looking this week at what you want and distinguishing the difference between preferences and attachments, and knowing that preferences are completely fine. Preferring to do something, planning to do something, striving to do stuff, not a problem, but it's that neurotic, it has to turn out the way that I want it to be, it has to be this way or else, that's what's going to cause a lot more unnecessary suffering. So So thank you all for joining me today. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.